He is the Senior Director of Collaboration for Worldwide Channels at none other than Cisco. Of course, Cisco has come from nowhere over the past decade to take the lead position in the IP PBX marketplace. And more importantly, they're also a four-time sponsor of the UC Summit. Now, if you paid any attention to Cisco's messaging over the last couple of years, you'll notice they are doubling down on the collaboration theme. And Ed Rich will be talking to us about people-centric collaboration. But before Richard comes on the stage, I believe we have a little video to show.
So, good morning, everyone. How are you?
Good. Great. Richard, how are you?
The world has changed pretty dramatically. We're not going to talk vision this morning. As you saw with the video, we're going to talk about what's real and here today. So I think the video gives you some perspective of really what's happening in the world today. Our industry is going through dramatic change. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to have a little bit of fun this morning. We're actually going to show you some of the technologies rather than vision. We're going to show you it's alive and well and available for you to take forward in some of the solutions that Marty and team were talking about. Also want to go on record, Marty, and some of your comments earlier about vendors saying they're going to reduce the price by 50% or 70% and take the margin out of the VAR's pocketbook. Cisco is not one of those, so I just want to go on record for that.
All right.
Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about people-centric collaboration. I'm going to start by talking a little bit about, well, what is collaboration? We speak at Cisco about unified communications and collaboration because we think that is really the next evolution of where we're going from the unified communications perspective. And what is collaboration? Well, it's really about doing some research. It's about creating things. It's about communicating and sharing those things. It's about absorbing information, making decisions. It's really a collaborative, human-oriented process, right? It's not about technology. It's about the human side of what we're doing. And if you think about historically what has been the focus and the emphasis around people and technology, it's kind of been in reverse. It's first, what is the document? What is the device? What is the tool? Focus first on that. Then focus on where is it? How do I get it? How do I get access to that person or that document or that information? And then finally, the who. Well, the role's changed. The center of gravity is reversed. Now, what we're talking about at Cisco, and really when we talk about solutions and business-oriented problem solving, it's about putting people back at the center, humanizing, if you will, the technology. And really now taking the leverage of that, beginning in a very matrixed organization. We've gone from hierarchy to very distributed organizations. Things have changed. So we're looking at this with people at the center and focusing on people and the user experience outwards. And if we think about that a little bit differently, we're seeing 4 major trends that are occurring in the industry. And we've already talked about that yesterday and a little bit more this morning. I've been in this business about as long as Marty and some other people in this room. I've never seen the degree of change that's going on as we see today. And we see these 4 major trends, and it's creating massive opportunity for you guys because it's creating major trauma, indecision, and things that all of your customers and our customers are wrestling with. I want to talk a little bit about this. Looking first at mobility. That's one we've talked a lot about, the consumerization of IT. Bring your own device. Mobility is becoming massive. If you look at the devices that people are using today, roughly 50% of the devices that people use in their normal workday are mobile devices, as opposed to desktop phones. Now, let me ask you guys, how many of you have a smartphone?
Sure.
Okay. How many of you have an iPad? How many of you have both? How many of you have iPhones? How many of you have RIM Blackberries?
In the closet.
How many of you have Microsoft Windows smartphones?
Oh, no, I don't.
Okay.
I don't have a PC.
So, very diverse tools that we're using and very mobile and more often. Now, we spoke yesterday about our phones going away totally. Interesting little stat. Cisco sold its 50 millionth IP phone recently. And last quarter, our actual phone volumes went up 40% year over year. Okay? Now, on the other side of the coin, soft phones, mobile clients went up triple digits year over year. Okay? So both are growing, but we're seeing the greatest growth in those soft clients and in the mobile devices. The next key trend we're looking at is social. This is taking the consumerization into business. How do I really now share it differently? How do I integrate document content management with communications? How do I take the ability to have documents find me rather than me finding documents? Again, back to the center being the individual. How many of you are using some kind of social software in your business? Everybody needs to. Your customers are using it. We're finding that nearly 50% of the enterprises that we do business with are using it in their business today. The problem is, most of them are using consumer social software, Facebook and others, without the security and capability that's needed. A tremendous opportunity for you to blend together those capabilities. Next, visual. We're finding that this is the fastest growing piece of our business. 70% of the CIOs that we do business with use video at least once a week. Our statistics show that in 2 years, 90% of the volume on the internet will be video. Video is a rapidly, rapidly changing industry, and it's creating massive opportunities for you guys as well. Last but not least is virtualization. And at Cisco, we think about virtualization in 2 arenas. Number 1, virtualizing applications, and number 2, virtualizing the desktop. How many of you have virtualization data center practices? Okay, about half of you. How many of you have virtualized desktop practices? About the same number. what we're finding is this is a rapidly growing piece of the business. How do I drive out cost, increase flexibility, and increase security by virtualizing the desktop and the applications? Minor problem is when I start to do that and also include video and voice, the old model breaks down. So a tremendous opportunity with some of the new technologies that Cisco's introduced with our VXI solution to now take voice and video and application virtualization on the desktop and create whole new solutions for customers. And particularly when you look at it from a mobile perspective, really creating very, very interesting opportunities. So, not only does the experience matter that the customer is seeing, but also the network matters. As we now are looking at virtualizing applications, as we're looking at virtualizing the desktop, as we're looking at taking things mobile, as we're creating much richer applications from a collaboration point of view, the network becomes even more important. As we're putting tremendously greater loads on that network with video, the network matters. And we have something at Cisco called MediaNet that's designed specifically to manage the video and the rich content associated with that. And we call that a borderless network that allows you to do this anywhere, anytime, with any device, and preserving the degree of security and flexibility and management that you need across that entire environment. We also think there are a number of choices that customers are looking at. We've talked about this from deployment models, increasing usage of the cloud, taking all of those applications and looking at variable deployment models. Do I want this delivered to me in a private cloud-oriented environment, a public cloud-oriented environment? Do I want it as part of a on-premise managed? Do I want a hybrid of all of those? Lots of different variations customers are exploring. In your last number of proposals to your customers, how many of them said, give me both a cloud and give me an on-premise deployment model so I can look at the options? Are you hearing that from customers? Okay. Happening every single day. Now Cisco very much wants to take this approach and enable our partners to deliver that. So as we look at that, we want to provide our partners with the capability to deliver all of those options in channel partner delivered offers, to give you the capability to do everything from a pure hosted to a hybrid to an on-premise remote managed or private cloud deployment model, to give you all of those options. And if you look at some of those, we're bringing that to market in two different flavors as well. One, with partner-hosted offerings, and also the Cisco-hosted offerings that flow through our channel partners. We're a very channel-centric business. We are not taking our cloud offers direct to the market. We want to offer it through our VARs. But this gives you the opportunity now to blend together Cisco and non-Cisco offerings, to blend together also hosted email, to blend together other solutions to bring that together. So partner-oriented models, and also now looking at the Cisco blended opportunity as well. We've also made a number of new announcements over the last couple of weeks. I want to share a few of those with you as well. Cisco continues to innovate. Number one, we introduced at Enterprise Connect our new TX9000, which brings together the best of the Tandberg world, the best of the Cisco world, drives down the cost of infrastructure for these immersive room systems by 25%. We drove down the cost of deployment for you partners by roughly 50%. So we're continuing to innovate in this immersive space as well. We've introduced Cisco WebEx for iPad. We talked yesterday about this interoperability stuff not easy. This was one of the first applications introduced for iPad. We're driving very heavy interoperability across all devices. Also, the WebEx for iPad, we're introducing a whole new version of that this summer, which is offering business social software incorporated with WebEx for pre-meeting storage of documents and materials and all the information and videos associated with the meeting. Then, likewise, storing in that same meeting space everything that happens in the meeting. Then in that same meeting space, everything post-meeting. So bringing together the software as a service WebEx capabilities with the capabilities of business social software. We also introduced, I hope you've heard, our Cisco Jabber for Windows. We'll give you an opportunity to actually see that here on stage. but now bringing the full power of Cisco, unified communications and collaboration, tightly integrated in a Windows environment. And as Russell said yesterday, that's not easy, but we've done it. And it's not a vision, it's real. We've also introduced 2 weeks ago Cisco Jabber for iPad. We'll give you a chance to see that as well. And our Cisco Quad Business Social Software, incorporating everything, continues to innovate and be a key part of our solutions going forward, and really now starting to provide that capability for business process integration, which is the rich professional services for all of you. It's becoming a very solutions and applications-oriented world. That's where you make your money. And last but not least, and we're showing a lot of that here at the conference, is a number of innovations in the mid-market space. Cisco is investing heavily in the mid-market space with our new Business Edition 6000, our Business Edition 3000, solutions from a WebEx point of view, and most importantly, a number of new programs, training and enablement, and opportunities for all of you to play in the video world. So we're bringing together all of our collaboration solutions, our training, our programs, and our enablement to really help you now penetrate that mid-market space. So if you have a mid-market business and you're not a Cisco partner, we really want to talk to you here at the conference. Mark Enderhees from my team, who I'll introduce here in a minute, is leading that effort for us. When you think about Cisco, and you only remember one thing that I say, this is what I want to leave you with. Cisco represents the broadest range of capability across platforms, operating systems, browsers, and devices. And from a solution integrator point of view, this means opportunity for you. The more open your vendor is, the more we're opening up addressable market opportunities for you to pull together the solutions and integrate them, build customized solutions for your customer. That's what Cisco stands for, openness and supporting multiple platforms. How many of you heard of our announcement, Jabber for Everyone? We announced that 2 weeks ago. Good. Actually, there was a little dialogue on this.
There was.
And I want to share this a little bit. We made a dramatic change 2 weeks ago at our Worldwide Partner Summit in terms of our strategy going forward. We think that presence in IM is a basic human right.
I'm for president then.
Put it in the Constitution.
And we made a pretty interesting announcement that any Cisco customer that has Communications Manager and our presence server in their network, anywhere, the entire enterprise can now have access to Cisco Jabber for every employee and every device that that employee has. And you do not have to buy a Cisco user license in order to have that. So let me make that clear again. If I'm a business that has one location that's Cisco Communications Manager, and I've got 5,000 employees, that one location has 200 users, 200 Cisco user licenses, I can now have IM and presence for the entire organization without incremental license and without incremental server cost. Providing that foundation across the entire enterprise that now becomes the building block to build more and more value, more and more of those applications that Marty and team were talking about. We think this is a major, major breakthrough opportunity for all of you, whether you're a solutions integrator or whether you're a consultant. This now gives the opportunity to have a very wide presence of IM and presence capability across the entire enterprise. Now, that's enough about the talk. I'd like to show you a few things if I could. I'd like to introduce Mark Enderhees. We're going to take a few minutes now and actually show you some of the technology at work. So Mark Enderhees, please welcome Mark. Mark, give them an overview of what we're going to show here today and kind of how we got things set up, if you would.
That sounds great. Thank you, Richard. So I'm going to start over here on the left side of the stage and go left to right and explain all the technology we have up here. And I will say that Richard and I are living on the edge. Richard likes to present on the edge, and we're actually living on the edge right now as a part of this demonstration because all of this is live working Cisco production equipment. In fact, we brought this, as a part of our own home offices systems to build this demonstration here. So, starting with this device here, we have an EX90. This is an executive class telepresence unit, one that you would find in an executive's office, small conference room, something like that. It's connected to a service that we call Cisco Telepresence Callway. And basically this is a cloud-based solution. We're now delivering as a cloud-based service, something that you can bring to market as one of our partners, a cloud-based telepresence solution. So we're getting all of our call control, video call control from the cloud on this unit. We have here our high-end 9971 IP phone. This is actually Tom Isaacson's desktop phone. Is Tom in the room? There's Tom over there. So Tom donated his IP phone for us. So we've got this here working on the network. I'll come over here, and this is actually my home office setup. I've got my MacBook Pro, which is running both the Mac OS and in a VMware session, Windows XP, and we're going to leverage that in just a moment. We've got the CS. This is my personal CS that I have. I use as my extension at home. And then coming all the way over to Richard, we've got Richard's iPad running the Jabber client, the new Jabber for iPad, as well as you have your MacBook Air over there.
Yep.
And we're going to incorporate all of these different devices into this demonstration here over the next roughly 10 minutes.
Keep your fingers crossed. No safety net. Live production. Hotel Wi-Fi. Hotel internet. Back to the Cisco corporate network. So if you'll bring up my iPad here. So this will give you the first view here of, let me make that a little bit bigger here. This is what we recently announced we'll be shipping here this summer. I use this every single day. So this is my actual iPad. This is actually what I use. As you see, you've got the normal presence capability. You've got the click-to capability. Here I've got Mark. I can call him on any of his devices. I can set up a chat. I can set up a WebEx meeting. All this is being pulled directly out of our Active Directory. So I have all the information here. I've set up my team. I can look at all the people across the business. I've got key people that I'm going to be working with. So all of that is here. I also have the ability to look at all of my call history. Yesterday the speaker spoke about how do you access your call history, your missed calls, the calls that you made. All that information is here as well. I have the ability also to see my voice messages. So I can go in and I can actually look at the voice messages, and I see here that I have a message from Mark Interviews.
How about that?
It's 7:41 this morning.
Uh-oh.
Mark. So let me just kind of look at how this voice messaging works. So again, I'm on wireless, and I'm actually going to listen to the voice message from Mark. Let me crank up the volume here. Mark, is this something that I should have listened to earlier?
I'm not sure. Well, go ahead and let it roll.
What is it?
Let's be sure I'm cranked up here. Well, as they say with live demos, there's always something that happens. So Mark, why don't you tell us what that voice message was?
Well, the voicemail, Richard, was, I had some new ideas around how it can really enhance the demonstration and for the audience, really make it more compelling than what we originally started with. But again, living on the edge, wanted to bounce it off you first before I just jumped into it right on stage.
And what is that?
And that idea is to bring in a couple of our coworkers and demonstrate the true power of interoperability by bringing in coworkers from across the U.S. using varying devices, all bringing them into a single Cisco telepresence conference, and then joining them here through this EX90, and then also through the Jabber.
On the hotel internet.
On the hotel internet.
Is that going to work better than the voicemail message?
Let's hope.
But let's not do that. Let's not do that yet, Mark.
Okay.
Let's decide if we're going to do that. Let's test a few other things before we decide if we're going to do that.
Okay. All right.
So let's take a look at. We've now showed a little bit about the capabilities here that I have on the iPad version of Jabber. Let's take a look at Mark's version on Windows, so you can see the Windows version of Java. So Corey, if you'll bring him up.
Thank you, Corey. So again, on my MacBook Pro here, I'm running both the Mac OS and Windows XP in a VM environment. I've got the new Jabber for Windows client running on my Windows session here. Again, live client. I'm getting instant message and present status of all of my coworkers here. I've got a meeting reminder here that popped up for my live calendar, so let me shut that down. And here you can see, very similar to what Richard demonstrated in the client for the iPad, the same capabilities. I see Richard here is at a meeting.
Oh, wait a minute. Mark, I probably should update that. Let me update that to presenting at UC Summit.
Ah, there we go. Perfect. So Richard's presenting at UC Summit. You see the status of the rest of my peers here. Through this client, I have the ability to initiate an IM session, the ability to escalate that IM session to a WebEx
Mark,
conference.
see my presents from last night?
Your presence, dining, drinking wine. All right. Perfect.
Shocking, just
We'll be
shocking.
doing some more of that tonight, I hope. And then also the ability to initiate a WebEx session and then launch the client and join from a telepresence meeting as well.
Great.
So,
All right, so let's push the envelope here a little bit more, Mark,
okay,
and let's try a chat.
let's do it.
So I'm gonna, if you'll go back to me, Corey, I'm going to initiate, your basic chat here with Mark. Mark's gonna respond back to me. Yeah, great. So, chat's okay. That's not very human, right? So, let me see. I'd rather call you.
Okay, sounds good.
So, now, in order to call, all I have to do is hit the call button. Isn't that a magic thing? And it gives me the options of how I want to call him. Do I want to just call the main work number or go to a specialized number? And at Cisco, every call is a video call. So with a little luck over the hotel wireless, this call will be a video call when I touch and call Mark.
So it's ringing here on my CS. I could answer either from my Windows desktop or from my CS device. And I've got Richard here now on video.
And it
My
actually
face on the
works.
big screen.
What do you think?
Good.
Now, like we said, this interoperability stuff isn't easy, but you saw it between an Apple iPad across the Cisco Communications Manager to a Windows environment. Okay? A little bit of a delay here because I've got a mirroring software between my device, that, up into the network, and then to show here. That gives you a perspective of what we're able to do. Now, Mark, let's...
We have another nice piece of interoperability here, Richard, and that is our integration with Microsoft Windows, Exchange, and Outlook. So here I have my live, back to my desktop
You
workplace.
can go back to,
We have my live Outlook mailbox right here. I have an email from Mark Leone that was sent this morning. And here within the email, I can even see the present status of all the users that were included in that email thread. So you have Mark Inderhees and Richard McLeod, who are both here presenting. We have Jason Gallo, who's one of the team members as well. Jason's available for our call. And Elizabeth is yellow, meaning she's probably on a call, but she can take or start an IM session. And then we can take that a step further. We can start an IM session directly from within the Outlook client here, or I can escalate that to a phone call by using the click-to-call capabilities, dialing from my desktop, leveraging either soft phone capabilities in the MacBook or my CS device sitting here to my left.
and that was special hocus pocus flash software you built for this?
No, this is software that's available today and it can be downloaded. It's our click-to-call application, Cisco Jabber for Windows, all the apps that we're presenting here are available to partners today.
Using the standard Microsoft APIs. So this is what Microsoft uses to integrate with Microsoft. We're using the same. Now, let's go out on the edge, Mark.
Okay.
Let's go down and take a look at what you were talking about here.
Okay, let's do it. So again, here we have the EX90 that's connected to the Hallway network, our cloud-based telepresence offer. We've got a couple of colleagues that are waiting on a telepresence bridge for us, so I called them to test earlier this morning and it worked, so we'll cross the fingers and make sure it works again now. We're joining the telepresence bridge, and in just a moment we should see Blair. No, I'm sorry, we're going to see Jason. Hello, Jason. How are you doing, Jason? Can you see the audience, Jason?
I can.
All right, we've got.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Jason, where are you and what kind of device are you on?
So I'm in the Reston, Virginia office, and I'm currently on a profile 65-inch. This is a 65-inch LCD screen with a C90 in it.
Great. And I see my boss down there as well, my executive assistant, Elizabeth Navarra. So Elizabeth, speak up so we can see you.
Hi.
Keep talking, Elizabeth.
Hi.
And Elizabeth, where are you and what kind of device are you on?
I'm in the San Jose office, and I'm on the Cisco CTS 3000 triple screen.
All right, now, Elizabeth, what did you have to do to get connected to this? Did you have to call in the IT staff and have everything set up, or how did you get in this conference?
No, I just picked up the phone and dialed the bridge number on the IP phone.
Okay, and Jason, what about you?
I happen to be on an older Tamberg unit, so I'm not using the phone, but I use the remote, and with the remote I just dialed the same number, 861-5266, and went hit send.
So one of the things that we've announced is all of our video and normal communications devices all being controlled by Cisco Communications Manager. One of the speakers yesterday spoke about, does it make sense to really have two separate call control platforms, one for video, one for voice? Well, we brought them together at Cisco, and you've actually seen it here today.
I think we should take it a step further.
Okay?
And that would be, oh, still over here, Richard.
Oh, I might take it a step further too.
All right, all right. So here we have, again, Tom's 9971 IP phone. This device actually has the ability to participate in a telepresence session as well. So I'm going to dial that same extension 861-562-66. And now this extension, if you can see, and you probably can't, but the same screen popped up, the bridge screen, and then here in just a moment, I'm in the telepresence meeting from my 9971 IP phone. So this is running off standard UC Manager, as we call it, Cisco Unified Communications Manager, dialing into this video bridge, where we're meeting with Jason and Elizabeth.
Okay, on the edge, now back with the iPad, if you'll come back to me, Corey. Same ability, I've now gone to the direct dial capability, and I'm going to dial the number, and fingers crossed. And I'm in the bridge as well. And there I am.
Hey. It works.
Good job.
So, Elizabeth, Jason, thank you so much. Let's give them a hand. They got up early to help us tonight.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Okay, let's carry it one step further, guys. We talk a lot about the integration process across multiple devices. And if you'll go, oh, that's my cue, I do that one, of course. Let's talk a little bit now about the CS. Now I've got this connected cable so you can see up here exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to log in. And we have an application here that's taken Cisco Communications Manager and Collaboration Solutions and integrated it with an SAP workflow application. So this is right on the lines where Marty was talking earlier. This is something I think everybody in the room can relate to. This is a field technician dispatch application. How many of you have field technicians? This is the easy part. This is actually a printer technician application. But here's the trouble ticket, AdCom computers, the contact, the phone number, a little bit about the printer history, what kind of printer it is. And this would come to the technician when they wake up in the morning, bang, it's here on their mobile device. Got the directions for how to get to the customer, right? Very easy to do that. Once I get to the location physically, or I can actually call the customer to confirm. Very easy to do that. Just touch that phone number there and bang, call the customer. Once I get to the location, where is the printer? Well, here's a schematic of the actual building. Gives me an opportunity to see, there's the trouble printer. There are printers all over, but there's the specific printer that's in trouble. Okay, that's great. Now it gives me the opportunity to say, okay, let me do, once I get there, I'm looking at the printer, let me go through a repair history capability. So I can now start doing various trouble ticket repairs. I can test the printer, gives me the prompting of everything I need to do. I can work on that part, I can replace the part, done that, great. I can test the printer, see if that, great, fix that, okay. Go to the next step, so on and so forth. So I go through the prompting capabilities, right? Now, I'm sure your technicians out there are the best in the world, and you always resolve it the first time without any help, right? Sometimes you need an expert. Sometimes you need somebody to help you, right? So we built into this application the ability to find an expert. Who are the experts in my corporation that are knowledgeable about this particular printer and this particular problem? And it shows me their availability, and I can immediately have them joined by video, just as we demonstrated. And, you know, in some cases, you probably also need to actually show them what the problem condition is. So now that live video capability, I can come over here and actually show them what the problem is. I think the problem is too many wires. So this gives you a view of a little bit about how you can now take unified communications and collaboration and now immerse those into workflow applications. And this is where the professional services value is. Here's where the consulting value is for the consultants in the room. This is where we change how business works and how people drive new profits and capabilities for their business. So hopefully that gave you a good perspective. Let's thank Mark for his help. Thanks, Mark, very much. We'll go back to the slides for me, Corey. So, in summary, hopefully we showed you that we see Jabber as really the on-ramp to all collaboration. We showed you the opportunity for how instant messaging and presence is kind of the beginning point. That's the basic human right, if you will. But the real value comes as you move up that value chain, as you start having now the direct call control capability off of your device, whether that's an iPad device, a Mac device, a Windows device, a mobile device, a desktop device, to carry it the next step to video and conferencing and sharing. The next step up into WebEx conferencing. Also the ability now to have my unified messaging built into that same device, as I almost demonstrated for you. And now we get to the real value add. We've introduced API kits similar to what I just showed you on the SAP application that now let you integrate Jabber click to anything, presence anywhere on any device, and to integrate that directly into workflow and vertical applications. And of course, all of that is supported by the Cisco infrastructure, the architecture that ensures secure capability and the bandwidth to make all of this happen. So we think it's a pretty exciting time in the industry. We think it's an opportunity now to light up the entire enterprise, light up all applications with collaboration-enabled business processes. The trends that are occurring, whether that is the mobile, the social, the visual, or the virtual opportunity, is creating unparalleled opportunities for consulting and solutions integrators. And it's all driving back to that people-centric collaboration. So I want to thank you on behalf of Cisco and on behalf of our distribution partner, Ingram Micro, for the opportunity to participate in it. Look forward to chatting with each of you individually, and hopefully you enjoyed the live demonstration today. Thanks a lot.
All right, we're going to have our morning coffee break now. We'll be reconvening at 10 o'clock, and we will have another drawing